Ever wondered why you can remember the lyrics to a song from your childhood, but forget where you put your keys 5 minutes ago? It's a fascinating puzzle, right? The key to understanding this lies in the brilliant mind of one of the fathers of modern psychology, William James. Today, we're diving deep into his groundbreaking ideas about memory, which laid the foundation for how we understand our own minds. Back in 1890, long before brain scans and cognitive science as we know it, William James published his monumental work, The Principles of Psychology. In it, he proposed a revolutionary idea. Memory isn't just one single thing. He suggested that we have different kinds of memory. Sound familiar? Yes. Because his distinction between what he called primary memory and secondary memory is the direct ancestor of our modern concepts of short-term and long-term memory. Let's break it down. James described primary memory as the stream of consciousness. It's the here and now. It's the information that's currently active in your mind, the thoughts and sensations you're experiencing this very second. Think about reading a sentence. You need to hold the beginning of the sentence in your mind to make sense of the end. That's primary memory at work. It's fleeting, temporary, and has a very limited capacity. It's what you're using right now to process my words. It's not about the past. It's about the immediate present. James saw it as the trailing edge of the conscious moment, a brief echo of what just happened. Then, there's secondary memory. This is what we typically think of when we say the word memory. It's the vast, permanent storehouse of our past experiences, knowledge, and skills. Your first day of school, the capital of France. How to ride a bike, all of that is tucked away in your secondary memory. Unlike primary memory, this information isn't actively in your consciousness. To access it, you need to make a deliberate effort to retrieve it. It's like searching for a specific book in a massive library. James called it the storehouse of the past. Knowledge of a former state of mind after it has already once dropped from consciousness. This dual memory model was a game changer. It explains so much about our everyday experiences. It tells us why cramming for an exam keeping information only in primary memory is so ineffective. The information never makes the journey into the more permanent secondary memory. To truly learn something, to remember it for the long haul, we need to transfer it from that temporary buffer into the vast archive. So, how does that transfer happen? James didn't have all the answers, but he had some powerful insights. He emphasized the importance of association and repetition. He argued that we remember things better when we can link them to something we already know. Creating a web of connections makes information more sticky. For instance, if you're trying to remember a new name, like Baker, you might picture the person wearing a baker's hat. This creates a strong associative link. Repetition or rehearsing the information also helps strengthen the neural pathways, making the memory more robust and easier to retrieve later. But James's most profound insight might be about the very nature of remembering. He understood that memory isn't like a video recording that you can play back perfectly. He saw it as a reconstructive process. Every time we recall a memory, we're not just pulling a file from a drawer. We are actively rebuilding it, often with new information, emotions, and contexts mixed in. This is why our memories can change over time. Two people can witness the exact same event and have completely different recollections of it years later. Their memories have been reconstructed through the lens of their own unique experiences and biases. This idea was incredibly ahead of its time and is a cornerstone of modern memory research, particularly in fields like eyewitness testimony. Think about a cherished childhood memory. Is it a perfect, crystal-clear replay? Or is it more of a fuzzy collection of images, feelings, and key moments? You probably remember the highlights, the emotions, and the general story. But the tiny details might be gone, or even filled in by your brain. That's the reconstructive nature of memory that James describes so eloquently. Our brain is a storyteller, not a camcorder. Furthermore, James was fascinated by the tip-of-the-tongue phenomenon. You know that incredibly frustrating feeling when you're certain you know a word or a name, but you just can't quite grasp it. James described this as a gap in our consciousness that is intensely active. We know the shape of the missing information needs rhythm. Its first letter, what it feels like, but the content itself remains elusive. He recognized this wasn't just a failure of memory, but a unique state of consciousness that tells us a lot about how our minds search for and retrieve information. It shows that retrieval isn't an all-or-nothing process. There are stages, and sometimes we get stuck in the middle. His work also touched upon habit, which he saw as deeply intertwined with memory. He famously said that our lives are but a mass of habits. Learning to play the piano or drive a car starts as a conscious, effortful process that relies heavily on our active memory. But with enough practice, these actions become automatic. They become ingrained habits, stored in a type of memory we now call procedural memory. You no longer have to think about where to place your fingers on the keys or how to press the pedals. Your body just knows. This was James's way of explaining how skills become second nature, freeing up our conscious mind to focus on other things. So, when you look at the landscape of psychology today, William James's fingerprints are everywhere. The distinction between short-term and long-term memory, the importance of association and repetition in learning the idea of memory as a reconstructive process, and even our understanding of habits, all of these can be traced back to his brilliant insights over a century ago. He was a true pioneer who was unafraid to tackle the biggest questions about the human mind using observation, introspection, and brilliant theoretical leaps. His legacy is a powerful reminder that some of the most profound truths about ourselves can be uncovered not just in a lab, but by carefully observing the workings of our own minds. The next time you effortlessly recall a happy memory or struggle to find your keys, take a moment to appreciate the complex, fascinating system at work, a system that William James began to map out for us all those years ago. He gave us the language and the framework to begin understanding one of the most essential aspects of what makes us human, our ability to carry our past with us into the future. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the mind of William James and the psychology of memory. If you found this as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of psychology. Let me know in the comments what memory puzzle you'd like us to explore next. See you in the next video.